The most wonderful time of the year. Although, let's be honest, around the holidays, things really add up. But here's the good news. Only at Verizon, you can get a single line for $50 per month when you switch and bring your phone. So while ice skating for two is definitely costing more, here at Verizon, you can save. Gifts for your third cousins? Steep. A single line with Verizon? Not so steep. A real tree? Pricey. A single line with Verizon? Less pricey. Flights to see Mima and Pops? Those are up. A $50 per month single line? That's down. Even a trip to the Atlanta Holiday Market will cost you more. But with Verizon, you can switch and bring your phone for just $50 per month for a single line on unlimited welcome, with autopay plus taxes and fees. All this to say, during the holiday season, when everything is costing more, you can get more for less right now at a local Verizon store. $15 monthly promo credits applied over 36 months with a new line on unlimited welcome. In times of congestion, unlimited 5G, 4G LTE may be temporarily slower than other traffic. Domestic data roaming at 2G speeds. Additional terms apply.
Well. Shopping for a car?
Yep. Carvana made financing a car as smooth as can be.
Oh, yeah?
I got pre-qualified instantly and had real terms personalized just for me.
Doesn't get much smoother than that.
Well, I got to browse thousands of car options on Carvana, all within my budget.
Doesn't get much smoother than that.
It does. I actually wanted a car that seemed out of my range, but I was able to add a cosigner and found my dream car.
It doesn't get much...
Oh, it gets smoother. It's getting delivered tomorrow.
Visit Carvana.com or download the app to get pre-qualified today.
Celebrity voice impersonation not an endorsement. Why go to a single furniture store when you can go to Big Sandy Superstore? Shop and compare America's top 5 mattress brands, plus Nectar and Purple. And choose from over 22,000 in-stock appliances from the top brands at the guaranteed lowest price. Or furnish the room of your dreams with a large selection of American-built furniture. With financing plans for just about anyone, there's nowhere else quite like it. Big Sandy Superstore.
The following podcast is a Green Fresh Media production.
Hello, good morning, angels, and welcome back to Morning Rae. I'm your host, Lani or Alana, and today's episode, we have Brianne Helfrich joining on the pod. She is the founder and CEO of Helfrich Collective. Helfrich Collective, I'm absolutely obsessed with all their sweatshirts and sweatpants. I actually just ordered a new set from them, but I swear whenever I'm wearing their hoodies on my Instagram, I'm always asked, where's your hoodie from? And it's Helfrich. She is a Canadian gal. She's from Alberta. She studied at University of Arizona. Now she's in Philly, and she is planning to go into med school, but on the side, she is a fashion creator, a fashion designer, a CEO, an entrepreneur. She's awesome. She's a mental health advocate, and I think you guys are really going to enjoy the episode. There's so many key takeaways, and it was such a pleasure having Brianne on the podcast. If you like this episode, I also have a podcast episode with Brianne on her podcast, Welcome to the Collective. So definitely go and check that out. I think it's a great episode. A little biased, but I think it's a great episode. Also, I had the realization, like, I know the whole thing behind Morning Rae is like you listen to it in the morning, whatever, but like you don't all listen to it in the morning. So when I say good morning, it's not always morning for all of you. Which is totally cool, but I just had that realization that it's not always morning. Random thought of this Friday morning. It's currently October 29th at 9:31 a.m. and we are ready for Halloween weekend. I'm going out tonight. I'm going out tomorrow. I haven't gone out this much in a hot sec, so this is going to be fun. I'm planning on being Olive from Easy A tonight, so I'm wearing this black corset top. I'm doing leather pants because I don't have black tight jeans anymore. And then I still need to go to the dollar store and get red felts to make an A. Super excited for that. And then tomorrow night, I think I'm being a bed bug, or I might just be like Elena Gilbert / Catherine from Vampire Diaries and do like a dark makeup look and kind of just be a vampire. Kind of sim for that. Sim is an acronym, a slang term that I use a lot. It's SIM. It means so in the mood, or it can be NIM, NIM, not in the mood. I think it's like a high school, like my high school's like slang. Still in the habit of using that 5 years out. Holy shit, 5 years out. Just taking a sip of my Casara Spice Latte from Pilot Coffee. So good. I'm actually working with them over on Instagram. If you download the Pilot Roasters app from the App Store, if you're based in Toronto, starting November 1st, you'll get 100 points, which is equivalent to a free drink. So why not take advantage of downloading the app and getting a free drink? I love their coffee. I've taken so many friends there. They love their coffee. I love Pilot. Totally awesome. But back to the episode. Let's get into our weekly intention. My weekly intention is to be more mindful and to be more present in the moment. I feel like I've been experiencing a lot of underlying anxiety from hidden triggers. I spoke a lot about it with my therapist this past week. But I just want to be more mindful in so many different avenues of my life. I want to be more mindful when I'm completing a task. I want to be more mindful when I'm eating. I want to be more mindful when I'm with friends and just like be present in the moment and to really focus on the now opposed to thinking about the past or the future. I feel like a lot of anxious thoughts stem from thinking of should-haves and what-ifs, and it's not like healthy, and I'm trying to really break that mind thought pattern. So I really want to encourage myself to be more mindful and present in the moment. And that leads me into the tip of the week. And this goes along with something that I've been doing for work and school. But I used to keep a million and one tabs open on my computer. And then I would multitask like too much, and I'd jump back and forth between the different tabs and windows and everything. But now what I try to do is I only keep the tabs open on the things that I'm currently working on. That way I'm kind of forcing myself to be fully focused on the task that I'm doing at hand, and it helps my mind not jump to want to start the next task when I haven't even finished the other one. I feel like I'm really great at starting tasks, but it can take me a while to actually finish them sometimes because my mind keeps jumping from thought to thought to task to task. So to keep my mind clear and my space clear, I try to keep only the things that I need in that given moment for the task that I'm working on open on my desktop. And I find it makes it a lot easier for me to do my work. It makes it a lot more efficient, a lot more productive. And those are things that we love. And that goes in hand with being more mindful. Then my current faves. Definitely trying out fall seasonal drinks from local coffee shops. The Casara Spice Latte from Pilot Coffee Roasters is definitely one of them. I also tried the chestnut praline latte from Forget Me Not, which is a cafe that Shawn Mendes actually goes to when he's in Toronto. It was really yummy. They sweeten it with honey, I believe. That's what I saw him do. But it's been a lot of fun. I think I also had like a cinnamon latte situation made with almond milk. All of them always made with almond milk, from Cafe 23 on Queen Street in Toronto. It's just fun trying out all these seasonal drinks. And you know what? It's so thrilling because before I used to have to get them a quarter sweet or half sweet, or I'd be scared of them because of like these thoughts with like diet culture and everything, and like my poor relationship with food that used to exist. Definitely don't think my relationship with food is perfect. As like I spoke about on last week's episode about body image, I'm definitely going through a bit of a low right now. But trying out these fun drinks is so much fun, and I highly recommend, and they're delicious. And I don't know, there's just something so therapeutic about going on a walk early in the morning. Also really love doing that. That's the next fave. I'll get into that in a hot sec. But going on a walk, grabbing a seasonal bev, and just doing some self-therapy. Like, do what you gotta do so you can be mentally ready and feel mentally good and clear and ready to show up as your highest self. Second favorite, early morning walks. Some mornings I'm not working out in the morning. I go on an early morning walk around like 7 a.m. and it's still dark out, but then like by the time I'm done my walk, like the sun is coming out, and it's just so peaceful and calming, and it's so quiet out. And I love being in the city when no one else is really up and out it. out and at it, up and at it. I don't know what the phrase is. But I really like the calmness and the serenity in the morning. So early morning walks, we love it. And my third and final favorite is my Aritzia Super Puff vest. I've had it since, I want to say last fall, maybe this spring. I can't remember when I got it, but I love it. I love wearing it with a hoodie, specifically my Helfrich Collective hoodies, my Aritzia Mega hoodies, and it's just like perfect. It's perfect for the fall when it's kind of cold but not too cold. It's super warm. It's cute. She's sleek. I have the matte black. I wear an extra small in it, I believe. My jacket isn't double extra small because they run quite big. I took the hood off of it, but I absolutely love it. I love the Super Puff vest from Aritzia. I love anything Super Puff. I really want the shorty. I also really like the cloud duvet, like long jacket. So nice. If Aritzia, like I would buy everything at Aritzia if I could. Like if it wasn't super expensive and if money wasn't a thing, like I just get it all. But I'm gonna bring Brianne onto the podcast. I hope you enjoy this episode and let's bring Brianne on to Morning Rae. I'm so excited to have you here. I was on Welcome to the Collective, so definitely go check out that episode. So we're doing like a little pod swap, I guess you could say. But for those who don't know you, who are you? Where are you from? And what is your zodiac sign?
Okay, so hi, I'm Brianne Helfrich. I am 24 years old. I'm from Edmonton, Alberta, but I currently go to school in Pittsburgh. I'm in a master's PhD program for healthcare ethics, and then I plan to go to medical school after. I own a clothing brand that I started during the pandemic called Helfrich Collective. I also have a podcast, Welcome to the Collective, and my zodiac sign is I'm an Aries.
Ooh, that's why we vibe. That is
hmm
why, because I'm a
Yeah.
Leo.
I feel like I'm an
So
Aries to a T.
yes, I definitely get all the Aries energy from you. I find I'm constantly finding myself in contact with Aries, and
hmm
I'm finding a lot of my female Aries friends are very like entrepreneurial, like
hmm
go-getters. Like they share,
hmm
like I share those character traits with them, which I think
Yeah,
is kind of cool. Like obviously zodiac signs are not everything and anything, but I really do think people who are born like at certain times share similar character traits.
same. And like even when we first met, I was like, "Oh, I love her." I was like, "We vibe so well." I'm like, "It's literally we're like the same person." I love it.
Yes. So you mentioned how you're Canadian, but you go to the school in the States. I did a
hmm
little creeping on LinkedIn and everything, and like you went to University of Arizona and all that.
Yeah.
What led you to want to go to school in the States over like a Canadian university?
So I actually went to U of Alberta for 2 years when I finished high school. And I did not have a good time in high school. My friend group was really, really mean. And I just did not have a good connotation with Edmonton. I didn't like it here. Um, and my mental health kind of just got really, really bad. And so my mom actually was like, we need to get you out of here. Like, we need to get you out of Edmonton. So one of my friends at the time went to U of Arizona and I went to go visit her and I was like, this place is so cool. It's sunny, it's warm, everyone like
Mm-hmm.
is really like it's just a very different atmosphere like an American university.
Mm-hmm.
So I applied and I got in and I just literally like decided to go. I was dating a boy at the time and I was like, just so you know, in 3 weeks I'm packing up and I'm moving. And he was like, okay. He was like, okay, fine. Like I literally just got in and like 3 weeks later I was like, time to leave. And I didn't
Mm-hmm.
really tell anyone. I just went. And yeah, it was so amazing and I loved every minute of it. But
Wow.
yeah. Yeah, my poor boyfriend at the time. I was like, "See ya."
I feel like that's something I would do. Like
Mhm.
like no man stopping me from doing whatever the heck I want. Like I'm
No.
if I'm set on something, like I'm doing it. Even when I transferred to Ryerson, obviously not as big as a change. Like I went from school in like Waterloo, which is what, like an hour and a half maybe, like not even away from Toronto. And started going to Ryerson, which is in Toronto, and like I didn't really tell anyone. I kind of just started going there. And I remember the first week of school I ran into a guy from my high school that had also transferred to Ryerson, but from Western, and we both didn't really tell anyone, and we like ran into each other like, what the heck are you doing here? Like, why are you in this building? But honestly, like so much happier. And I also transferred after second year. I feel like there's such like this negative connotation like over transferring schools, or like that you have to finish what you started. And yes, I'm 100% like someone that like once I decide I want to do something, I finish it. Like I go to the end. Clearly with all my platforms, like I don't give up quite easily. But I think like there's a stigma around transferring, and a lot of people would just like,
I feel like my list of things to buy, to do, activities that involve spending money is never ending around the holidays, making the idea of investing and saving and thinking about your future to be a little bit more challenging, a little bit more overwhelming. Acorns makes it easy to start automatically saving and investing for you, your kids, and your retirement, even during the holidays. You don't need to be an expert. Acorns will recommend a diversified portfolio that matches you. You don't need a ton of time. You can create your Acorns account and start automatically investing your money in just 5 minutes. You don't need to be rich. Acorns lets you get started with the spare money you've got right now. That could be $5 a day or even just your spare change. That's right, Acorns can round every purchase you make up to the dollar and automatically invest your spare change for you. And you can get bonus investments just for buying the stuff you need from the brands you love. I personally love Acorns. It's simplified the investment process, which can be overwhelming and intimidating, but it just makes it so simple, so easy, and something more accessible no matter how much money you have to invest. Head to acorns.com/Alana or download the Acorns app to start saving and investing for your future today. Paid non-client endorsement. Compensation provides incentive to positively promote Acorns. Investing involves risk. Acorns Advisors LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor. View important disclosures at acorns.com/Alana. I'm super excited about today's sponsor. They've sponsored the podcast before, and this is a topic I'm super passionate about. I fear that us as girls struggle with PMS far more than we should, and we really shouldn't. I truly get the worst PMS symptoms. My boobs are sensitive, my face breaks out, my sugar controllings are out of whack. I feel like I'm just a bottomless pit. My mood is not the vibe, and Estro Control has been super helpful in helping manage those PMS symptoms and making that time of the month a lot more enjoyable. Estro Control is a formula developed by Happy Mammoth, a supplement company dedicated to making women's lives easier. Say no more. Estro Control contains science-backed herbal extracts that help support hormonal health, especially if you are someone like myself who struggles with PMS. It was created to help women feel like themselves all month long and to not struggle with the feelings PMS can cause. For a limited time, you can get 15% off your entire first order at happymammoth.com. Just use the code Alana at checkout. That's happymammoth.com and use the code Alana for 15% off today.
You can have it all. Great pay, awesome benefits, a flexible schedule, the chance to grow. At Cox, we're recruiting auto and diesel technicians to join our Mannheim and Fleet Services teams. If you're ready for a new job and want to experience an award-winning workplace, drive your career forward with us. Visit cox.career/autotech to learn more. That's cox.career/autotech.
Like their negative like state of mental health, like just like stay. They wouldn't really do anything to change that. What would you say was like the moment you realized you're like, I can't be here anymore? Like I really do need a change. And was it like ever scary? Were you ever like, what the fuck am I doing? Like going to
Yeah.
Arizona? Like it's not
Yeah.
even like you were like coming home and going to school at home. Like you
hmm
totally like switched countries.
I don't know if there was ever like a point that I was like, okay, I literally need to leave tomorrow. Like this is so bad. But it's just when you're kind of in a toxic environment, it like takes
Mm-hmm.
its toll on you every day. Like I was scared to tell my friends about like a modeling thing that I got or like a school thing that I got because I was nervous about what their reaction would be. And I was
Mm-hmm.
like, this is not healthy. And I was like, all my friendships were so superficial. Like, if it wasn't for my family, I probably would have left way earlier. Um, but yeah, no, I was so fucking terrified. I was literally like shaking going, especially because the one person I knew that went there, she left when I first got there, so I actually knew no one. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and it's very scary, but I like kept telling myself, if I go and I hate it, I'll just come home. If I go and
Mm-hmm.
I try it and it's like the worst thing ever, I'll just come back home. Like it's okay. I just have to go and see. And then obviously I went and I like made friends and it was like a really good experience. But the first like 3 months, I would call my mom every day, bawling my eyes out and be like, you have to bring me home. Like, you have to bring me home. I have no friends. I don't like it here. And she was like, you have to, like, just wait 1 semester. Like, just give it a semester and, like, you'll be okay. But yeah, no, I was so fucking scared. Like, it's so scary to do that, but, like, it's the best thing. And I honestly feel like you can't grow if you don't step outside your comfort zone.
Mm-hmm.
So that was like
Mm-hmm.
going from 0 to 100. I was like, we're just gonna throw myself into it. But yeah, it was so good. I loved every minute of it.
Oh, I'm so glad. So I
Mhm.
get asked a lot, how do you make friends as an adult? And I feel like
Oh my
you're
God,
probably the
yeah.
perfect person to ask because you were literally thrown into a completely different environment. For me, I was
Mhm.
still in Toronto, so I still had like physical access to some of my good friends that I decided to keep because I also struggled with a lot of superficial friendships, friendships that were super
Mhm.
fake. And it took me a while to find those authentic relationships, but I would love to hear any tips or things that you did to find people who you connected with and who really valued you while in a
Mhm.
whole new environment?
So I literally have that exact same question, especially because I just moved to Pittsburgh too, and I'm like,
Mhm.
how the fuck do you make friends? I'm like, I don't understand. But when I went to Arizona, I was really lucky because I joined a sorority, and like,
Mhm.
if you know anything about Arizona, Greek life is huge. Like, it is like
Yes.
you
Yes.
have to be in Greek life to like meet people. So I was in a sorority, and obviously you're with a whole bunch of girls, so that's kind of how I made like a lot of my friends. And now going to Pittsburgh, when you're in a master's program or like a PhD program, I'm really lucky because it's a really small program, so I know everyone in it. But outside of that, I'm like, I don't know how you make friends. But I think a big way that you can honestly now is like social media. Is like a
Mhm.
huge thing. Like I went for dinner last night. I'm like back home in my hometown right now, but I went for dinner last night with these girls that like I met through Insta and like they're so sweet and I like absolutely love them already. And I'm like, it's kind of just like networking and like connecting with people like on social media is like a big way to make friends nowadays. I mean, that's a big way for people to date too.
Mhm.
But yeah, like that's kind of a thing, just, like, slide into a girl's DMs and be like, "Hey, wanna go for coffee?" Like, I don't know. I'm still struggling with it, like, I don't know. But I'm like, I feel like that's probably a huge way to do it. Also, just always, like, step outside your comfort zone and, like, I always just say, if I go up to someone and I talk to them and they're like, "You're actually so fucking weird, why are you speaking to me?" Like, I never have to see them again. So, like, it's fine.
Yeah, that's valid. I've made
Mhm.
so many friends through Instagram. I would say majority of my close friends is through Instagram, and whenever I'm
Mhm.
explaining it to people, they're like, "Sorry, what?" I'm like, "Yes, through the internet, I made
Yeah.
friends with someone."
Yeah.
I've heard the best thing to do is like ask someone who looks approachable, like say like you and I were like in a coffee shop
Mhm.
like working, and you obviously like you're kind of judging a book by its cover at this point, but say like you think that you'd connect with that person, ask them to do an activity that you like doing. And generally, like if they say yes, they're most likely into like similar things that you like doing and live a
Yeah.
similar lifestyle and like way of life. um this girl Tori, who I became friends with, we were at an event together. She was the PR agency putting on the event. I was a guest. And I really liked her outfit, and I found like her Instagram, and I messaged her. I was like, I loved what you were wearing the other night. And then she asked me to do a workout class at Sweat and Tonic, and now we go and do workout classes together, and we
Oh
kind of
my God, I
talk.
love that.
And now I have like a workout friend, and that was kind of like one of my first Toronto friends. And then this other girl messaged me on Instagram and was like, I think we live like near each other just based on your TikToks, and it looks very similar to my building. We might even be in the same building. Told me a bit about herself, and now we're friends. So it's really crazy how Instagram can allow you to make friends.
Yeah.
And the worst thing that can happen is they say no, they don't answer, or you don't vibe with the person. I think we need to really normalize going on friendship dates. Like
I
the
agree.
same way you date guys or girls or whatever you're into, like go out with like a girl and like have like a good time, like make those friendship dates. Like I think that really has to be normalized in adulthood, and that's how you like start a friendship.
I totally agree. Especially like even now being like an adult, I guess, like an adult, not really, kind of, but like you really value, like I'd rather have like three really good close friends than like 17 that like I don't know. So like yeah, like going on those like friendship dates and getting to know them, like that's such a good it sounds bad, but like it's a good way to like weed them out. Like if there's something that you're like, "Oh, I don't know if that's like a good trait to have in a friend." Weed them out and just like try and meet new people.
Yeah, and all it takes is one friend. Like if you say you and I were in the same city and we went on a friendship date and we really vibed, then I'm most likely going to invite you out with like my friends, and then you get
Exactly.
introduced to my circle of friends. And if you're vibing with me, you're probably going to vibe with my friends too. So then you have like what, like 4 new like acquaintances in the city, and maybe
Mhm.
one or two of them will also become a really good friend of yours. So
Yeah,
it's pretty crazy. And the same thing works with dating. Like you could then like meet like your
totally.
special someone through that. So
That's literally how I met my boyfriend, and everyone's like, "What, really?" I'm like, "Yes, but we're so good, so it's fine."
tell me a little bit about your boyfriend. Is he living in Edmonton? Where does he live? How did you
Mhm.
meet exactly? When did you meet? How long have you been dating for? Share what you're
All
comfortable.
of it. Oh, I'll share everything. Dean, if you're listening, I'm so sorry. Um, yeah, so we met on Tinder, which is like wild, and everyone's like, "Oh my God, seriously?" And I'm like, "But we're in a pandemic. Like, how else do you want me to meet someone?"
Yeah.
Um, and it's like it's wild. So I already decided I was moving to Pittsburgh at this point, and I was actually already talking to boys from Pittsburgh. Like I was like, I don't want to do long distance. I'm never doing it again. My ex-boyfriend and I did 3 years of long distance when I went to Arizona, so I was like, I'm done. I've had enough.
Mhm.
And then something like I don't even know. And then he like sent me a message, like Dean sent me a message, whole thing. And we like went on one date and I was like, "Oh fuck." I was like, "Fuck, we're gonna have to do long distance again." Like, here we go again. But yeah, so he's from Edmonton, so we do long distance. I came home this weekend because I was gonna surprise him for his birthday, but I planned it a month ago and I'm not really good at surprises. So it was a secret for 2 days, and then I said, "Okay, do you wanna hear something? Like, by the way, I'm coming home for your birthday. Like, I'm so sorry, I have to tell you." Because I couldn't like, a month is too long for me to keep it a secret.
That's so long. I don't know if I could do that.
It's so long, and, like, I even, like, called his mom, like, before, and I was like, "I'm coming home, don't tell anyone, like, secret, all this stuff," and then the next day, I was like, "Yeah, he knows, I'm so sorry." Like, I had to tell him. But,
I
yeah.
love that.
Yeah, that's about it.
Okay, so you mentioned that you're studying like in the science health field, but you
Yeah.
started a fashion company. What
Yeah.
led you to want to like start Helfrich Collective and like go in that direction when you're like so in the depths of like health and
Mhm.
science in terms of your education?
Yeah, so I'm a very big STEM major, like, everything I do is, like, medicine, my family's, like, in medicine, whole situation. Um, so I don't even know. Like, I grew up modeling, I, like, modeled in New York, that kinda thing, so I love fashion, I've always loved it. I mean, I wear sweats and a hoodie every day, so that was kind of just a given. But it was basically, like, in the prime of the pandemic, I, like, just went through a breakup, I didn't get into med schools, I got rejected from them, we were at home, and then a big thing was also like all my friends are from America, and America had very different COVID restrictions at the time. So they were
Mm-hmm.
flying everywhere, hanging out with each other. They went back to school for graduation stuff. Like they did all this stuff, and I was sitting at home, like I can't go because the border's closed. Like I'm literally
Mm-hmm.
sitting at home in a hometown that I like am scared to go places because I'm scared to see people from like high school or whatever. And so I was just really depressed and like really just like my mental health was not good at all. And I literally, it sounds so weird. Like I saw on Insta that this one person from my hometown made a hoodie. And I was like, I literally went to my mom and I was like, I feel like I can do this. Like I was like, I don't know why. I just feel like I need something to do and something to like pull myself out. And I was like, I like hoodies. Like, why don't I make one? So I literally just jumped in. Like I know nothing about business. I didn't know about like how to make one. I didn't know any of this. I just had to research it. And yeah, HC kind of just started literally out of nowhere. Everyone always asks me, they're like, what did you do? How did you find people? How did you do all this stuff? And I'm like, I honestly don't know. It was just like I blacked out for like 2 months and just like researched and did it. Like I have no idea. And I still don't know what I'm doing. Like I still don't know business or marketing or like any of that, but it's just something that I love doing and something I'm passionate about. So it's just kind of working out and I'm just like going with it. But yeah.
Honestly, I feel like that's how all great
Mhm.
businesses start. Most of the time, the founder of a company doesn't have a business background. It wasn't really intentional in it becoming like a full thrown business. It
Mhm.
comes out of like a passion or a need that they have in their life that has to be fulfilled. Um, and then they want to share it with others because they're passionate about it. What is it like being your own boss at 24 years old while also in school? Like, that's pretty crazy. I mean, like,
Mhm.
I'm kind of like my own boss, but it's more like freelance work. I'm not here running a freaking company, manufacturing clothes, coming up
Mhm.
with designs, distributing it, doing the marketing. So, what is it like being your own boss and having all those responsibilities, but also trying to find balance between
Mhm.
school, work, your long distance relationship, friends?
Mhm. If you ask any one of my family members, they'll tell you I don't have balance. I need to like start and I'm like starting to do it, but also like being your own boss, like you never stop working. Like you know that. Like
Yes.
you
Yes.
literally never stop. Like I'll be in class, like emailing like one of my employees and I'll be like, so what are we gonna do on the Insta and all this stuff because I can't ever stop thinking about it. Like that's all I think about. But it's also, like, really fun, and it's also taught me a lot, like, I learned a lot of, like, leadership skills with it, and,
Mhm.
like, I really have to push myself outside my comfort zone a lot with it, which is, like, really good because 'cause I'm such an introvert naturally, so having
Same.
to, like, go on, like, meetings and, like, conference calls and, like, all this stuff is, like, so scary to me, but it's, like, really making me a better person. But yeah, like I'll literally be up at like 4 in the morning and like emailing manufacturers and all this stuff. And like my parents, I'll like text my mom at the same time because I always have to get my mom's input with everything just because I'm like nervous. And she'll be like, why the fuck are you up at 4 in the morning? Like, why are you doing this right now? And I'm like, because I need to get this done by 4:10 so that this can be sent out by 4:15 so that this can do this. And she's like, you're actually insane. But, yeah, it's wild. I never thought it was gonna happen. Everyone all the time, they're like, is this, like, what you're gonna do as your career?" And I'm like, "I have no idea." Like, I guess if it kind of takes off, we'll see, but, like
Being super busy can make it really easy to fall into a dinner time recipe rut, or even with your lunches. Any meal, honestly, can get you into a rut, especially with a busy schedule this fall. You can keep mealtime exciting with over 40 recipes to choose from every single week, so there's always something delicious to discover with HelloFresh. It's truly a no-brainer. It does all the shopping and meal planning for you. Ingredients arrive at your doorstep, pre-proportioned and ready to cook, along with pictured step-by-step recipe cards. It's never been easier. I personally love HelloFresh as a way to get exposure to new recipes, make my life a bit easier as a busy 20-year-old in the city.
The most wonderful time of the year. Although, let's be honest, around the holidays, things really add up. But here's the good news. Only at Verizon, you can get a single line for $50 per month when you switch and bring your phone. So while ice skating for two is definitely costing more, here at Verizon, you can save. Gifts for your third cousins? Steep. A single line with Verizon? Not so steep. A real tree? Pricey. A single line with Verizon? Less pricey. Flights to see Mima and Pops? Those are up. A $50 per month single line? That's down. Even a trip to the Atlanta Holiday Market will cost you more. But with Verizon, you can switch and bring your phone for just $50 per month for a single line on unlimited welcome, with autopay plus taxes and fees. All this to say, during the holiday season, when everything is costing more, you can get more for less right now at a local Verizon store. $15 monthly promo credits applied over 36 months with a new line on unlimited welcome. In times of congestion, unlimited 5G, 4G LTE may be temporarily slower than other traffic. Domestic data roaming at 2G speeds. Additional terms apply.
And I love that it's worry-free, it's super easy, it's convenient, and gets delivered straight to my door. Go to hellofresh.com/50rae and use code 50rae for 50% off plus free shipping. That's hellofresh.com/50rae and use code 50rae, 50rae for 50% off plus free shipping. HelloFresh is America's #1 meal kit, and thank you for sponsoring today's episode of Morning Rae.
Celebrity voice impersonation not an endorsement. Why go to a single furniture store when you can go to Big Sandy Superstore? Shop and compare America's top 5 mattress brands, plus Nectar and Purple. And choose from over 22,000 in-stock appliances from the top brands at the guaranteed lowest price. Or furnish the room of your dreams with a large selection of American-built furniture. With financing plans for just about anyone, there's nowhere else quite like it. Big Sandy Superstore.
I also still want to be a doctor. So I just, in my head right now, I might be naive. I'm like, I'm just going to do both. I'm just going to do both for the rest of my life and we'll just figure it out. But
Somehow make it work.
Exactly. I'll figure it out. But yeah, it's so crazy. I love every minute of it though. I have one of my best friends now works for HC, and she became my best friend because she started working for HC. So it's kind of fun because she's my age and we kind of do everything together, designs and all that, and that's the fun part with all of it. But yeah, it's crazy. I never thought I'd be doing this.
Well, that's amazing. I feel like life is always more exciting when it's not super, super planned out. Obviously, it's great to plan, but the most fun and memorable things come from spontaneity. I don't even know how to say that word.
Spontaneity, yeah.
Spontaneity. Clearly, English is not my strong suit. Although I like to correct everyone on their grammar and their spelling when I'm texting them. That's me.
Literally me.
That friend.
That's literally me.
It's the OCD. I can't do it.
I know. That's literally me too.
I'd love to hear more about the process of coming up with the drops of different collections within HC, because I find that so interesting. Because a fun fact about me is I really wanted to initially go into fashion design. I saw myself as being a fashion designer. I used to have these little sketch pads that I got from Mastermind that I would draw fashion designs on, and I went to fashion camp, and I was really set on doing fashion. So I'd love to hear more about your process, everything from inspiration to coming up with the design to having the outlines of how the hoodie is going to be manufactured, getting it made, samples, all that stuff.
Okay, so to start off, Sarah, who's my graphic designer, and we literally will go on Pinterest, kind of get some inspo. That's kind of where we get it from. And then obviously we have to tweak it to make it our own. So we'll start with that. And then basically it's just her and I going back and forth on different colors, different ideas. Then we have to decide do we want just one hoodie? Do we want one hoodie, 2 colors? Do we want a full sweatsuit? Do we want a t-shirt? Whatever it is, we have to just figure that out. And then and then we just kind of come up with the design, It normally takes we have a new collection coming out like probably end of next month. And if you were to see, like we have pictures of like when we first started designing it versus like what the samples look like, completely different. Like nothing is the same. The first one's really ugly. It like was so bad. Like it's a completely different thing. And I'm sure we'll post them just so that people can see like how we went from one end to the other. But it's basically just a lot of collaboration and we just like go through and that kind of thing. And then once we have our design and our mock-ups, I send them to the manufacturers. I literally measured out every single hoodie and I will be like, I want it 4 inches from the side. I want the logo to be 17 inches wide. I want it to be 3 inches from the top. Like I will take a measuring tape and like measure everything. And then I'll be like, I want the sleeves to be 24.5 inches long. I want the cuff to be this like wide. Like I will send them every single detail. And I'm psycho. I'll send like an email because it's the easiest way to do it. And I'll like bold stuff. I'll be like, please see JPEG 0.74397 below. Like I will literally
Oh
put
my
like
God,
the
that
title of
would be
every
me.
picture because I'm like insane. And then I'll be like, please reply and confirm that you understand everything I'm saying. And they're like, yeah, we got it. You're fine. So then we will get the samples made. And then once we get the samples, we look at them, we see if we like them, that kind of thing. And then if we do, we'll like do a bulk order and place that and then do a photo shoot, that whole situation. If we don't like them, then we'll have to like kind of start over and get new samples made. Um, there's been a few times that we've gotten like a lot of samples made. Like we literally were like, these are all so fucking ugly. Like, what are we doing wrong? So we got so many samples made. Um, and then we do a photo shoot, and that's the fun part. And I always like find people on Insta or wherever. So I'm gonna try and find people in Pittsburgh for this next one. And then also, like before we launch, I have to look up different charities that we want to donate to. So it kind of depends on each collection, like kind of what's going on in the world, where we are in the season, that whole thing. So like the next one will probably be more like around Christmas time. So like Santa's Anonymous is a charity in Edmonton that like gives presents to families that can't afford them. So like we look at different charities and we try and figure out like which ones I want. And then and then we literally just post it and like have it start launching. And it normally takes like 4 months-ish, 4 to 5 months for like each collection to kind of like start to finish. So it's a long process. And then I always get nervous, like when we start it, like at the end, are we still gonna like it by the time that like time comes around? But it's like it's really fun. Like it's really fun to design and really fun to like go through everything. Obviously, the photo shoot's my favorite part. It's like so fun to be like creative director and be like, I think we need a close up of this. We need a back shot of this. We need all this stuff. But that's kind of it.
I love that. I feel like
Yeah.
you and I would, like, if I were to start that, I would very much be one and the same. Wow. I love every single collection that HC comes out with.
Thank you.
I'm currently, you guys can't see because it's just audio, but I'm currently in one of the hoodies, as I always am. I swear I always get asked on Instagram what hoodie I'm wearing, where it's from when I'm wearing one of your pieces. So I think that speaks a million words.
That makes me so
Clearly
happy.
the people, they like the designs, they like the fit, they like the aesthetic. What led you you're welcome. What led you to want to tie each collection to a charity and to donate some money to these charities? I'd love to hear more about that.
So it kind of just started because of the first one. So the first collection that we made was called the Trust in It collection, basically because my mental health was like so shit, like it was not okay. And I just told myself all the time, like, you just have to trust in it, like whether that's like your faith or like yourself or the life, or if you're in sorority recruitment, like trust the process is what they always say. But so I just had to tell myself that like life was working for me and not against me in those moments. So because the whole collection was based around my mental health, and that's the whole reason HC started, I was like, I need to donate and give back to organizations that like help people that are going through this. So that's kind of how it started. The first collection we donated to mental health. And then on top of that, it was my mom's idea to also donate a hoodie for every 10 sold to like some sort of shelter in my hometown. So I donated to a shelter that's for women and children fleeing from domestic abuse. And it was like really good because I got to sit down with them and like actually learn a lot about them. And like
Mm-hmm.
it's really it's really nice for me too because I sit down with every charity and learn more about them, and I become more cultured and I understand more about like what goes on actually in the world because I'm
Mm-hmm.
so sheltered. Like my hometown is like so insanely sheltered. Like I'm in like a small town like off of Edmonton technically. So yeah, it's just I that's kind of like why I started giving back to every charity, and I like it's one of my favorite parts of HC and like one thing that I love the most about it. But yeah.
I really love that. I also donate a percentage of the profits from my merch to the Canadian Mental Health Association.
Mhm.
I feel like you and I are both very aligned on our mental health
Mhm.
advocacy. Wow, I really can't speak today. Advocacy. Um, I'd love to hear. We touched a little bit on it, but your journey with mental health. Um, do you seek therapy?
Mhm.
What are your ways in which you practice on a daily basis to ensure that your mental health is staying healthy, that you're
Mhm.
making sure that you're doing okay, that you're being aware of your emotions, your thoughts, your feelings? Are there any practices you and precautions or anything that you do on a daily basis that you could maybe share with someone who might not know where to start?
Mhm. So, yeah, I am a huge advocate for therapy. I think therapy is the best thing ever. I think actually every single person should be in therapy, like even if you
Mm-hmm.
don't think you have
Retweet.
anything to talk about. Yeah. It's like it's so amazing. And I mean, one thing that I think people don't talk about is like when you first start therapy, like it's so fucking hard. So like when I first
Mm-hmm.
started therapy, I feel like I got more depressed because you start to become very aware of like your thoughts and you become
Yes.
very aware of like the underlying issues with everything. And then
Mm-hmm.
it's learning how to cope with that and learning to work through it that then you see like the benefits of therapy. So if you're starting therapy and you're like, this actually sucks, I hate everything about it, like it will get better. The beginning's always the toughest
Mm-hmm.
part. But yeah, so like just on a day-to-day basis, I mean, one thing that I do that really helps my mental health is I work out first thing in the morning. I'm naturally just a very anxious person, so waking up in the morning, I'm already like filled with anxiety. So I literally
Mm-hmm.
between the time I wake up and the time I get to the gym, it's like 10 minutes. Like I will wake up, sprint out of bed, literally get changed and go straight to the gym. Like I won't even think about anything because if I were to just sit in my bed, like I would just start to like spiral out of control.
Mm-hmm.
So I just go straight to the gym, I start working out, and then by the time that's done, like I already have a clear head and I just feel a lot better. I also a big thing for my mental health is I talk it out a lot. So I'll either call like my mom or my boyfriend or whoever, and I will like literally be like, don't say anything, just let me like talk this out. Like let me just like work myself through it. That's a huge thing for me. I've kind of fallen off of it, but like I used to journal a lot,
Mm-hmm.
even just like a brain dump, like literally just like write everything. It doesn't have to make sense. You just get all your thoughts onto paper. Cause I feel like when they're on paper, I can look at it more like objectively and kind of work through
Yes.
everything. Whereas if it's in my head, I'm like, I am so overwhelmed. I don't understand what's going on. So those are kind of like really big things. Also, like I find that the food I eat impacts my mental health a lot. Like, if I'm eating like fruits and veggies and all this stuff, like I normally have less anxiety. Maybe that's just me. Um, so I try to do that, but like also like I'm 24, I'm gonna like eat 17 donuts
Yes.
in a sitting. Like I come home and the only thing I ever want is Timbits. I don't know why. No one in my family even likes Timbits, and I'm like, I am obsessed with them. So I will sit and eat like a 50 pack of Timbits. But those are kind of like really big things for me. Like definitely working out or like some sort of movement. It doesn't even have to
Mm-hmm.
be like hard, like even going to yoga. or something.
Yeah.
I really want to get into meditation. A lot of people told me I should meditate because I'm so high strung and like anxious all the time.
It might
But
like zen you out a little.
hmm I like can't sit there. I don't know. I have to, I mean, I have to start and like even just for like 30 seconds or something and just try it. But yeah, I heard that meditation's really good. I heard that's a really good one, but definitely just talking it out helps a lot and kind of working myself through it and also understanding where everything's coming from. Like if I have anxiety, I will take a minute and be like, okay, why am I anxious? Like why? Because I'm not just going to be anxious for like literally no reason. There has to be some underlying cause. And I'll be like, oh, I'm anxious because I have a school project due tomorrow and I have this due next week and I have this for HC or whatever. And then I'll be like, okay, we're just going to start with like one thing, like just get the project for tomorrow done. And then we'll deal with the next thing. And then we'll deal with the next thing. Instead of looking at it all as like one giant issue, you kind of
Mhm.
like compartmentalize it and like do like one step after each step kind of thing. Um, but yeah, those are kind of like what I do every day.
Yeah, I feel like that's very much similar to me. I find in talking out with someone how the thoughts that are going on in your head or writing it
hmm
out in like a mind dump or as you called it, a brain dump, you're able to actually realize being super busy can make it really easy to fall into a dinner time recipe rut, or even with your lunches. Any meal, honestly, can get you into a rut, especially with a busy schedule this fall. You can keep mealtime exciting with over 40 recipes to choose from every single week, so there's always something delicious to discover with HelloFresh. It's truly a no-brainer. It does all the shopping and meal planning for you. Ingredients arrive at your doorstep, pre-proportioned and ready to cook, along with pictured step-by-step recipe cards. It's never been easier. I personally love HelloFresh as a way to get exposure to new recipes, make my life a bit easier as a busy 20-year-old in the city. And I love that it's worry-free, it's super easy, it's convenient, and gets delivered straight to my door. Go to hellofresh.com/50ray and use code 50ray for 50% off plus free shipping. That's hellofresh.com/50RAE and use code 50RAE, 50RAE for 50% off plus free shipping. HelloFresh is America's #1 meal kit, and thank you for sponsoring today's episode of Morning Rae. And process the thoughts that are going on in your head, and you're able to hear like what is actually kind of like, not that your thoughts are stupid, but to realize like and
hmm
just connect yourself from those anxious thoughts, because
Yeah.
your anxious thoughts can lead you to think things that you don't actually believe about
Yeah.
yourself or about the situations. So when you're verbalizing it, you're able to actually hear back what you're saying, which is also why therapy is so amazing, because you have to
hmm
talk out what's going on currently and break
hmm
it down. Um, Therapy is like amazing. 100% recommend it. If you're listening to this and you're on the fence about therapy, just look into it. Your
Do
first
it.
therapist may not be your therapist. Again, like
hmm
friendships, like relationships, like you have to date around a little bit sometimes. um
So true.
but it is hard at first, but it gets easier. And it's hard at first because you're unraveling. It's kind of like you're opening up Pandora's
Mhm.
box. You're
Mhm.
unraveling all these feelings and these emotions and these anxieties and these tendencies that you've kept boxed up for years. And now you're opening them up and you're kind of like investigating them and trying to figure out, okay, why do I feel like this when this happens? Why does this
Mhm.
like pattern keep reoccurring? Why does this pattern in dating and friendships keep recurring in my life? um
Mhm.
Therapy is awesome. There's so many like great alternatives that are more affordable, like BetterHelp and Talkspace.
Mhm.
I know in Ontario there's like free cognitive behavioral therapy, which is the type of therapy I do.
Mhm.
I can't remember exactly how to access it. I get ads for it all the time. Probably gonna get ads again because my phone's gonna hear me
Because you're
talking about
talking
it.
about it, yeah.
But yeah, I love therapy. I love moving, exercise, walks,
Mhm.
journaling, talking to friends. I'm with you
Also,
on that.
yeah, also like schools, if you're in school, a lot of the time they have
Yes.
therapy options that are cheap or like free even. So
Mhm.
that's definitely something you can look into. And Yeah, also, like, if I'm having, like, an anxiety attack, I always have to kinda, like, sit with it for a minute because, I mean, there's so many times that I have an anxiety attack and an hour later, I'm like, "Oh, like, that was kinda dumb.
Yeah.
Why was I anxious?" Like, yeah, no, I finished my project, like, I'm good, like, now I'm fine. So I kinda have to remind myself, like, in an hour, I'm gonna be okay. Because when
Mhm.
you're in an anxiety attack, you think the world is ending and you, like, don't know if you'll ever get out of it. So just reminding myself, like, you'll be fine literally in half an hour. Like, you will be able to figure this out. And I always have to tell myself, like, you always get everything done. Like, you're never late on an assignment. Like, you're very smart. You're confident. Like, just like reaffirming stuff to myself
Mhm.
really helps in those moments too.
Yes, 100%. And I know a few of my listeners are in high school. Talking to your high school guidance counselor, I
Mhm.
used to do that. It's free, it's great. They understand the school environment. They're able to talk to
Yeah.
your teachers, they're able to give you accommodations. And there's nothing wrong in that and there's no shame and no one has to know. Like, I feel like there's this whole thing. It's like, oh, I'm gonna look weak if I go to therapy. Actually,
Mhm.
no, I'm gonna disagree with you on that. I think you actually look a lot stronger that you're
Mhm.
going to therapy or you're asking for help because so many people won't because they're fearful of it. So you're
Totally agree.
strong by getting help and you're strong by working on yourself both mentally and physically and overall.
I totally agree. When I was kind of in the thick of like my eating disorder, a big thing was I would say to my therapist, like, I am so embarrassed that I have this. Like, I am so embarrassed that I look at food and I panic. And she was like, but you're so strong that you've gone this far dealing with it. And you're so strong that you're seeking help because a lot of people won't do that. So the fact
Mhm.
that you're even seeking help and you want to fix these underlying issues and you want to get healthy and you want to do all this stuff is like a huge, huge step. And it's so stigmatized, and, like, I literally think that's so fucked, like, it's
Yeah.
so stigmatized, and, I mean, on my podcast, Lani and I were saying, like, we will literally tell people, like, "I have therapy tomorrow at noon, do not
Yes.
contact me." Like, "I can't go on a date, I have therapy. I can't hang out with you, I have therapy." Like, I literally will say this to people because I'm like, I want you to know, like, it's not a bad thing. Like, I literally think every
Mhm.
single person in the world should be in therapy. Like, I think it should be, like, mandatory. Like, we all
Yes.
need to talk stuff out.
Yes. Like, talk about therapy and counseling and taking care of your
Mhm.
mental health and caring about your mental health like you would, like, I'm going to workout class. No one's going to
Exactly.
question you going to workout class. So why are
Mhm.
you questioning me going to therapy? Why are you questioning me like journaling or any of that thing? Any of those
Totally
things? Like,
agree.
break the fucking stigma. Like, break it.
Mhm. Yeah, I totally agree.
So everyone knows, I guess, okay, this is going to sound like really conceited. I'm the queen of morning routines.
Yes. Yes,
I
you
would
are.
love to hear what your morning routine is because I feel like everyone's always asking about my morning routine. I want to know what
Mhm.
your morning routine is. Maybe it's better suited for someone else. And I also just want to know what you're up to besides working out because we discussed the working out. But what
Mhm.
does your morning look like during the week? Because I feel like weekends are different. So tell
Yeah.
us your morning
My
routine.
So my mornings are my favorite part of my day. Like, I wake up so early
Same.
that by 2 PM, like, I tell everyone, like, my day's done. Like, I literally sometimes won't do homework past, like, 3 PM because I'm so brain dead. So normally, I wake up at like 5 a.m. every day, but that's only
Gee.
because I have clinicals and because I have to go to the hospital and like do rounds and stuff.
Okay.
So like you do not have to like people listening do not wake up at 5 a.m. I literally just
She's
have
a
to do it.
queen. She's a
Um,
mad woman.
she's in school and has no other choice. But basically I do it because like I know I'm not going to work out when I get home from school, so I
Mhm.
have to do it in the morning. So I wake up, do my workout as we said, and then I'll like take a shower, that whole thing, and then pretty much so it like depends on the day. Normally I'll like literally pack my lunch and everything and I'll like go to the hospital and I'll do rounds and like do all my clinicals and then go to school and like have a full school day. On the days where I don't have clinicals, I still wake up like pretty early, do a workout, go home, shower. Normally the mornings are like where I'll do my homework or like when I'll study because that's just when my brain's the most alert. Like I'll go get
Mhm.
a coffee. I am obsessed with coffee. It's not healthy. Like my caffeine
Retweet.
addiction is like insane. When I was studying for the MCAT, I had like 8 cups of coffee every day. Like my parents were like, this is not okay. Like it's
That's
actually
like my
so
dad.
unhealthy. It's so unhealthy, but it's so good. I just like love it. But I'll like make a cup of coffee because that's like one of the simple joys in my life and I love it. And then I'll literally sit and I'll like do homework or I'll study or I'll edit the podcast or like just kind of all the tasks that I have to do. I like to do it from like 9 till like noon or something.
Mm-hmm.
I'll make breakfast. So like I literally have been on an overnight oats kick and I'll eat overnight oats every single morning. I'm a really big creature of habit. So like if I find
Same.
one thing that I like, I will eat it every single day and for like literally like
Mm-hmm.
7 months and I won't get tired of
Yes.
it. And I'm like I don't get it. And like my boyfriend can't do that. He has to like change stuff every day and I'm like that's so annoying. Like, I know exactly what I have to buy at the grocery store. I have everything planned out. Like, how do you change your food every day? Because I can't do it. But yeah, and then if I'm feeling really anxious, I'll journal. I'll work on the podcast. I'll work on HC stuff. I like to put like all my meetings and stuff like typically in the morning. Um, and then yeah, and then like I said, by like 3 p.m. my day's done. I'll like either be at school and I'll come home, I'll have dinner and I'll like go to bed. But yeah, my mornings are kind of simple. They're where I am the most productive, so I try and cram
Mm-hmm.
everything I can into the morning. But yeah, that's kind of it. It's like a very simple morning routine, but I love it.
I love that for you. And how
Thanks.
do you manage your time? How do you plan? How do you schedule? What
Mhm.
keeps you sane? What is your go-to?
Yeah, so scheduling is very difficult. Um, the big thing is like my school schedule is typically the same every week. So like that's really nice because I know on Tuesdays I have school from literally 6 a.m. till 6 p.m. Like I know
Oh my
that
God.
those 12 hours like I'm at
I could
school.
never.
I know it's like rough. It's like a long day. Um, but so like I know my school schedule all the time. So basically I work everything else around it. So like
Mm-hmm.
we said with HC, I kind of never stop working. So like that I don't necessarily schedule time in for it unless it's like an actual meeting or like
Mm-hmm.
setting up a launch or like something. Because I'll be at school and I'll be texting everyone about certain things, or I'll send an email while I'm on lunch, or like something like that. So I kind of just fit it in when I have to because I know I have to do it. A big thing is I use like it's called Time Tree. It's like an app on your phone. It's a calendar app. But my boyfriend and I are both connected to it. So like I put something in,
That's
it
so
shows up on
cute.
his phone. Yeah. But so we like have each other's schedules in. Um so I use that to kind of like plan my days and stuff. But yeah, I kind of just like I know that if I have an assignment on a certain day, I know that like Friday I'm gonna just sit and I'm just gonna do my homework. Like I have a homework set day, and then if
Mm-hmm.
someone asks me to hang out, I'm like I have to do this homework. Like I kind of prioritize things. Obviously, having a social life is super important, but at the same time, if I know I have a huge paper due or I know I have something that I have to get done, then I'll just ask them if we can do it the next week. Like it's really not that big of a deal. And then a
Mm-hmm.
big thing that I've learned like being older is that I used to get such bad FOMO if I didn't go out and I didn't do stuff. I kind of had to learn like I have different priorities than I used to, and
Mm-hmm.
it sounds really shitty, but like if I'm not there, it's not really gonna make that big of a deal. Like I used to
Yeah.
think like, oh my God, everyone's gonna be like, oh my God, Brianne's not here. Why isn't she at this party? Why isn't she out with us? No, like everyone's kind of in their own world. People will like wean off and like go do their own things and like all this stuff. Like it really is not that bad if I'm not there. So if I have to stay home on a Friday night to do homework, I'm gonna do it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, a big thing just like prioritizing stuff is like huge. Yeah, I don't know, especially because like with HC, I kind of just do it whenever I have to. Like I said, I'll wake up at 4 in the morning if I have to, and I'll just like send an email. Um, but yeah, that's kind of it.
I feel like you and I are very similar in the scheduling thing and like when we fit in
Mhm.
like the stuff for our own ventures and entrepreneurial
Mhm.
stuff. I think I could speak to you for hours, but we're going to start to wrap this up. I always like to ask my guests if they didn't listen to anything else in the podcast and they were to take away one thing from it, what is a piece of advice or a quote or a resource or anything that you want to leave the listeners with?
Go to therapy. Work on your mental health. It's very, very important. I mean, a big thing, like in today's society, like it's such a big thing to work on your physical health because you can see it. Your mental health, you can't always see it. Like it doesn't always show. But it's literally more important. Like it's just so important. Seek help if you need to seek help. Yeah, therapy's the best thing ever. I love it. It's like my weekly, like it's my favorite thing. I like get excited every week. I'm like, oh, I have so much to tell my therapist. Like it'll be so great. But yeah.
And plug yourself out. Where can the listeners find you? Where can they buy your hoodies, your sweatpants, everything? Plug it all out.
Okay. So my Insta is Brianne Helfrich, and then also Helfrich Collective. You can buy our hoodies and our sweats and our shorts and all that stuff on helfrichcollective.com. The podcast is Welcome to the Collective, and then TikTok is the same, just Helfrich Collective and Brianne Helfrich. But yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you oh my God, my Alexa just went off. Thank you so much for coming on Morning Rae. It was a pleasure having you on. I hope you all enjoyed this episode. Make sure to rate, review, and subscribe as it really helps support the podcast. I love you guys so much, and we'll chat soon. Bye, guys.
Judy was boring.
Hello.
Then Judy discovered ChumbaCasino.com.
It's my little escape.
Now Judy's the life of the party.
Oh, baby, mama's bringing home the bacon.
Whoa, take it easy, Judy. The Chumba life is for everybody. So go to ChumbaCasino.com and play over 100 casino-style games. Join today and play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Lucky Land Casino, asking people, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
Lucky? In line at the deli, I guess?
Aha, in my dentist's office. More than once, actually.
Do I have to say?
Yes, you do.
In the car before my kids' PTA meeting.
Really?
Yes.
Excuse me, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
I never win and tell.
Well, there you have it. You can get lucky anywhere, playing at LuckyLandSlots.com. Play for free right now. Are you feeling lucky? No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.